let's get to the shenanigans. Let's get to the tweets and the Twitter and the social media and all that stuff. Let's get into it. Don't forget to like this video. Please, 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 please like this video. So let's talk. Yo, this tweet was so funny to me when I saw it. So let me shorten this real quick. Hold up. Can I? There we go. All right. Let's make it a little bit smaller. There we go. So check this out. So Saturday, I told y'all I was out with Doc, right? Now this is like peak NBA free agency. So I'm scrolling I'm refreshing my feed, and I keep seeing this thing that says, rate limit exceeded. I'm not paying no mind. I'm just thinking Twitter's down or something, right? I come from the era of the farewell. So like if Twitter's down, in my mind, I'm just thinking it's down. So Doc is like, yo, did you see this tweet from Elon? No, I don't follow Elon Musk on social media. You know what I'm saying? His stuff just so happens to come into my feed. If it's important, I'll see it. Other than that, I'm not going out of my way to hear what Elon Musk has to say about anything. But he shares this tweet. He says, to address extreme levels of data scraping and system manipulation, we've applied the following temporary limits. Verified accounts are limited to reading 6,000 posts a day. Unverified accounts to 600 posts a day. New unverified accounts to 300 a day. So I gotta pull up this article. Cause not even an hour later, Engadget posts an article. Several media outlets posted an article, but the one I saw was from Engadget that basically explained that what Elon was doing had nothing to do with data scraping and system manipulation. Because in theory, you could say that was the case. ChatGPT, AI is scraping social media, particularly Twitter, to develop its system and gain information. So we know that, right? Let me get some water. Hold up. So we know that. And the reality of it is, if you're on social media and you're on a free social media client, you are the product. You are being sold. Your data is being sold. Your information is being sold, stolen, all of that stuff. Like, it's just the reality of it. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But basically, so Engadget, let me pull this up. So Engadget, if you can see that, Twitter has reportedly refused to pay its Google Cloud contract. So essentially, let's see. So more platform instability could be in Twitter's near future. In 2018, Twitter signed a $1 billion contract with Google to host some of its services on the company's Google Cloud servers. Platformer reports that Twitter recently refused to pay the search giant ahead of the contract's June 30th renewal date. Twitter is reportedly rushing to move as many services off of Google's infrastructure before the contract expires, but the effort is running behind schedule, putting some tools, including Smite, a program the company acquired in 2018 to bolster its moderation capabilities, in danger of going offline. If Twitter can't migrate the system to its own servers before the end of the month, platformers suggest a shutdown would greatly impact the company's ability to combat spam and child sexual abuse material. Before Saturday, Smite had already been showing signs of strain following Elon's deep cuts into Twitter's workforce. Blah, 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 la, 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 la. Read that article. It's on Engadget. So he's talking like, oh, it's data scraping and system manipulation. But Engadget says, nah, fam, you didn't pay your bill. So now all of the things that you host on Twitter are about to go offline. So we have to throttle them so we can have time to fix it. And the biggest thing was, for me, was like, yo, and I've been saying this for years, y'all. Yo, people can really just like they can do whatever they want with their platform. If I own it, right? I can buy a shoe and I can paint on it if I want to, because it's my shoe. Oh, why you buying that Jordan? Its resale is $800 and this, that, and third. And now I want to paint it. It's a black shoe and I want it green. What you gonna do about it? It's my shoe. In the same way, Elon says, hey, I own this. This is mine. So I'm going to do whatever I want to it. I don't care if y'all like it. He didn't put up a poll. He didn't say, hey, y'all, what y'all think? I got this new song for y'all. I got this new dance for y'all. What y'all think? He didn't say that. He said, he didn't even say anything. He just did it. Yo, throttling. The fact that he throttled the paid accounts was nuts. Like, dang, like people are paying you $11.99 and they can't even scroll on your app. Here's why. Here's a few reasons why the throttling was crazy. First of all, you tried to like posture and position yourself as a moral authority, that you made a decision out of morality and good nature, because Elon was tweeting, you guys don't need to be on your phones anyway. My guy, the whole point of a social media app is to keep its people on it for as long as possible. Do you know why the For You page exists on Twitter and on TikTok? Do you know why you get recommended posts from people that you don't follow? Because in their mind, they're exposing you to something that they determine, or the algorithm determines, based off of your engagement and your use and your likes and your replies and your reposts and all that stuff. They take that information and say, I bet this person will like this. And so what that does is that keeps you on the app. So as long as you're on the app, they can throw you advertisements. TikTok is very successful with their advertisements. What was the other? I was just talking to somebody else about what a social media app that was doing well with its advertising. I forgot. But they want you to buy stuff because that's how they make their money, is to keep you on the app for as long as possible. Because, and I said this a couple shows ago, when Elon or when any platform is having meetings with investors and potential investors, they can pull up data and say they have this many users and they use the app for this long. And like, look, I just watched that movie Missing with Storm Reed and Nia Long. I just watched that the other night. The movie was good until the end. The end was trash. But her ability to pull all of that information like off of Google was like not alarming, but like you should know that like Google high key has all of our data, right? So what they do, one of the things they do with that is they take that to their investors and people who have the ability to pay them and help them make money. And they say, yo, Armand, or say, yo, we have this many users. They use the app on average for this long. These are their patterns. These are the things that they like. These are the ways that they engage XYZ, all of those things. So then the investor says, okay, so that means they're paying for your eyes. So that means they can throw products at you. Similarly, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that's what they would do with TV and Nielsen ratings. They say, yo, we have 8 million people watching our program. So we have these commercial slots. You can pay us X amount of dollars. We'll run your commercial. So if I'm watching Soul Train or I'm watching Ninja Turtles or I'm watching NBA, NFL, whatever, when I cut that on, that commercial comes on, they have the data that shows the type of person that's watching this program. And so what type of products would appeal to the people watching those programs, which is why you get I don't get ads on my TikTok for like hair and makeup. My daughter does, because that's what she looks at on her social media. She looks at beauty products because that's what she's into. I don't care about beauty products, so they're not catering to me. I'm not their target audience. But like rapidy rap hip hop stuff or tech stuff or fashion stuff, that stuff doesn't show up on my daughter's feed. It shows up on my feed because that's what I'm into. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that makes sense. So the problem, to that point, Elon can't show up and be the morality police because the thing that you're being moral about, limiting people, y'all need to be on here, no way, y'all need to go outside, hang out with your families, is the complete antithesis to the business structure of your platform. How else are you going to make money off of Twitter if people aren't on it? I know you're not trying to make money off of blue checks and just relying on a subscription service. That is a stream of revenue, but that's not the like you make more money off of advertising and investors and investments. There we go. So in turn, people begin to migrate off the app. And there's a bunch of apps like waiting in the wings, right? So Mastodon. That's why Threads has picked up, and I would love to know what you guys think of Threads. Leave a comment and let me know. I'm going to take this off. Leave a comment right now. Let me know if you sign up for anything new this weekend. So did you sign up for Spill, Mastodon? I can't think of like this other one that Hector told me about that he signed up for. I saw a couple people sign up for that. Or did you sign up for Threads? You sign up for Instagrams? Because they rushed theirs out. And we talked about that on Clock Radio Speakers. Doc was like, hey, if they're smart, they're gonna push that. They're gonna expedite pushing out their app. Because they've been working on this Twitter killer for a while now. And it just launched right before I went live. So, okay. So, the one that stood out the most, or the one that really got a lot of attention, was an app called Spill. And apparently, the backstory with Spill is that it was developed by many of the black developers who were laid off from Twitter by Elon when he did the mass layoffs when he bought the company to try and save money. So they all came together. They came up with Spill. Okay, so let's see what y'all. So I feel like it's a few things with me, and then I'm gonna go to the comments and like, please give me y'all's feedback. So you told me what you signed up for. Tell me what your experience is like on these new apps. Tell me what it's like. I would love to know, and I'm gonna put them up. I'm gonna put them up over here in the comments, right? So we can talk about them, because I didn't sign up for Spill, and I'm gonna tell you why. I feel like I've seen this movie before. I just saw this movie last year with Clubhouse, or 2 years ago. Was that 2 years ago? Or was that last year? I don't remember. But like, I feel like that was 2 years ago. I feel like it was 2 years ago, because that was like peak quarantine when Clubhouse popped. I ain't gonna hold you. Clubhouse was mad fun in its early stages. It was really, really fun. So, that's when, celebrities was going on there, and they was just talking and sharing stories. And, I remember there was like that Rockefeller room. Just Blaze was in there for like 10 hours, just like sharing Rockefeller stories. Like, it was really hard for me to go to bed because I was just on. People was rapping. I joined like a rapidy rap room. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. Doc and I hosted some verses in there. But you had to like build your audience. right? It's like start from scratch. And so for me, my initial thought was, I thought about like the timeline of Clubhouse and like how it went from being a lot of fun to like being what it is now. I'm sure it's probably settled because many people have left and like gone back to like Twitter and stuff. But some people have stayed there and been really successful. It's kind of what happens when like the dust clears. You're kind of able to like niche down and you're not, fighting the noise. You're not a rock in the grand, or you're not a pebble in the Grand Canyon of Twitter or Instagram. Excuse me. So, but I was like, man, people got on Clubhouse and they was just doing the most. I think also, to be fair, I think again it was because of quarantine and people were going crazy. There's like the moan rooms, like folks was in there at 3:00 in the morning, like simulating sex and like offering cash prizes, like the winner, like the best moan gets $500. Like just two people in there arguing, fighting, lying, like clout chasing, because these celebrities and people were in the room. Then you would have, people just in there just trying to like position themselves and posture themselves and pretend. That's why I can't move to LA. So I can't do Atlanta either. Sorry, Jada. Can't do Atlanta. Can't do LA. Cause so many people, and I'm not saying everybody, but so many people are just name dropping and like, Jesus, bro, word, just the most. So let's talk. I want to hear before I get into my bag what y'all think. So, all right, so you sign up for Blue. What's Blue Sky? Is that the other one? How is Blue Sky? I feel like all the white people that couldn't get invites to Spill sign up for Blue Sky. And I'm not saying that in a racist way, like it's on some, I'm not saying that at all, like conservative rumble kick, and we're gonna talk about that in a second because all this correlates. But the people that I saw sign up for Blue Sky were not people who signed up for Spill. But I would love to know how Blue Sky is. I really want to know. Okay, so Shane was on Threads and Spill. Okay. Courtney downloaded Spill, haven't signed up yet because you needed a invite code, right? That's how Clubhouse was. So Shane says Spill is okay. Why is it okay? I would love to know. Why is it okay? Because in turn, what did Jana say? Jana says, come on. All right. Thank you. Here we go. So Jana says, very much a slow adopter, so we will see. Threads has a more utility creative wise. I did see that. I did like the layout of Threads. Threads looks really good. Gives Patreon, Slack, Discord vibes. Okay. I guess it may just be one of those things where I have to like, see for myself. Because when I see, it just looks like you just put your tweet over like a meme or a picture. Can you like put your own stuff up there? Can I like, if I got a freestyle or a clip or something, can I share that to Spill? Or is it like only text? How does that work? All right, so Wolves Den says, Blue Sky's hella white. It's nice, but it feels like the community is thriving off spite for Twitter and Instagram more than anything. Yo, but that's what happens, right? Kevin Samuels was able to exist out of spite from the feminist movement, where a certain demographic of men felt like they weren't being heard and represented. So like the complete antithesis of that shows up and thrives. It's why so many people go to Rumble and Kick, because Twitch, apparently be on trash. YouTube be on trash, right? So, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can find community and niche down on one of these spaces that isn't like the main thing. I think about it with wrestling a little bit, because I know there are some wrestlers who make more money on the independent circuit than they would in WWE. There are some artists, there's some musicians who make more money independently than some people who are signed to major labels. So that's kind of what that feels like. And it's actually kind of like interesting. Like, maybe I should, right? Maybe I should look into that. So, in turn, yo, man, all these people are following me on Threads. This is so funny. Where are my replies at? Yeah, nothing else here. It's just a lot. It's a lot going on here on Threads, yo. Okay. All right. I'll check on there later. Because for me, the reason why I immediately signed up for Threads is because Instagram is like my favorite social media app. I actually get the most engagement on Instagram than anywhere else. It used to be Twitter. The For You page is completely just like destroyed my engagement on Instagram. And I don't really get any engagement on Facebook. And I don't really get any engagement on TikTok. So Instagram is kind of where I lean in, and then YouTube, I get some engagement here, right? So, what was I going to say? I think the difference, though, and I think this is why this is a good time for some of these apps to come out and gain some traction, is because the reason why people came back to Clubhouse is because Clubhouse developed Spaces, which was Clubhouse's bread and butter. Twitter developed, and what people said was, well, I've already got this following here. I'm already familiar with this space. And then they have the thing that I was using on the other app. So let me just go back to where I was, where I'm familiar at, and I'm going to just use that, right? And I think the difference is now is that Elon is just not innovating. Like, Twitter is just getting worse and worse. And so the difference between Clubhouse then and Clubhouse now is that some of these apps are going to flourish because Twitter's not innovating and not doing cool things to combat the new apps that are coming up, or the new platforms that are coming. So I won't be surprised if Spill is successful in 6 months. I won't be surprised if Blue Sky is successful in Mastodon. And, the thing about Threads is like Android. Google will make some stuff and it'll be fire, and they just won't develop it and stick with it, and they'll just go on to the next thing. So I don't know how long, and that's the thing about Meta, is that Meta doesn't do a good job of at anything. They have a bunch of, what does Meta do that's great? Right? Like Reels was kind of clunky when they was paying people. That was clunky. And they have Marketplace, that's kind of clunky. And they have dating, that's kind of clunky. Like, they just have stuff that's there, but it's not done really, really well. You know what I'm saying? So the users, it's unrealistic. Okay, I'll say this. It's unrealistic for me to tell y'all get off social media, because that's just not going to happen. I just think social media is just going to continue to evolve. And I always wondered what was going to be the next iteration of Twitter, because Twitter was so successful, because it was so unique. And it's just going to die by the fire of its creator, because its creator just doesn't understand its user base, doesn't understand people. So I always say like, yo, connect with your people. So everybody who's here and who follows me and who fools with me, I always say sign up for my email list, sign up for my Patreon, find a way to connect with me outside of this system. Because in the event that this system goes down, and it will go down, you want to be able to connect with the people that you rock with. Right? But I think what happens is I want to look at an example of like the other side of that. Because this is actually something that I've been dealing with. So what I've been trying to do is I'm trying to figure out a balance. I've been leaning into my Patreon and leaning into my email list and leaning less on social media and leaning more into YouTube and leaning less on social media. As a result, if I'm honest, I've seen a plateau in my growth. So I feel like everybody who follows me and who rocks with me, they are already connected to me outside of the ecosystem of social media. Most people, I would say a nice percentage of the people who follow me, most of them are at least signed up to the email list, right? So what happens is I want to give y'all an example. Where is this at? Battle rap. The URL, Ultimate Rap League. So Murder Mook, Loaded Lux, Sue Surf, Charlie Clips, Hitman Holla, Jazz the Rapper, right? Geechee Gotti, Hollow the Don. Battle rap has been such a thing in hip hop culture for a long time, and URL is the face of that. Now, I went through, my introduction to this or last generation of battle rap was I used to battle, right? So there's that. And then after that, it was like Smack DVDs, Murder Mook versus J Mills, Murder Mook versus Loaded Lux. You know what I'm saying? And then I was introduced to like the next iteration, also like Grind Time, WRC, Marv One, Quest McCody, Ilmac and Thesaurus, like, right? So real just nerdy rapper stuff, right? The next iteration that I was introduced to was URL on YouTube. So the first battle that I saw from that generation was Hitman Holla versus Averb. I watched Averb's third round and was like, and I was sold, and I deep dove, and I loved Loaded Lux, and like found out that he was there, and I just became a fanatic. And they leveraged YouTube to build their company, right? So they had the events and all that stuff, and they were able to throw events and successfully throw events because of what they were offering on YouTube. They leveraged the platform, right? So what ended up happening was, like right before quarantine, right during quarantine, maybe right before, they launched an app. So now they're putting all of their battles behind a paywall. And now they don't put any of their battles on YouTube. The reason that they'll say is because YouTube does not pay them for their battles due to the advertising or the rules of YouTube, right? And basically because of the language and the content of battle rap, they don't share advertising revenue. But you got 2 million people subscribed to your. In the event that they do, they'll throw a bone. They'll throw one little battle like a year on there, and it hits 1 million views immediately, right? But what happens now is you have more battlers complaining that they're not able to grow on the URL platform because all of their battles are behind a paywall. Now, don't get me wrong. URL is caking off of this app. They are making a lot of money. So there is very little incentive for them to go back to YouTube because in their mind, we're a business. We trying to make some money. However, if you were to leverage the free platform and you say, because they have all of these battles on their app that are 3 years old and collecting dust that people are not watching. And to take it a step further, URL is not leveraging those battles to sell the app. So you have a great app you have a great battle like the Saga versus B Dot. An excellent battle. Throw that up there for free. It makes the Saga a star. It makes B Dot a star, even though B Dot's not battling anymore. And then in turn, people are going to come to your app. But no, you just want to go paywall. And now you've got more and more of your roster because you're signing them to exclusive contracts. And just let me say, battle rap culture is just extremely toxic and messy. Of course it is. Look at the content of the battles and the things that they write, right? But if they would leverage what these platforms provide, which is an audience, then they can make more money. So what happens is we come from the culture where like your social media was like, boom, that was your flag. And now that's not the case anymore. You're able to leverage them to a Patreon or to a Discord or to a Slack or to a Threads or not Threads. No, you're not leveraging. Don't leverage people to another free platform. That's not how that works. So I would encourage people, if you are building something, build outside of that social media ecosystem and treat social media for what it is. When you hear people like myself complain about social media, it's me just complaining the fact that it's changing and it wasn't what it was anymore. It wasn't the thing that I fell in love with and wasted countless hours and days off of, right? And developed relationships and I was making money off social media for a while and growing my platform for music and for Clock Radio speakers and for model ministry and for, shows and events and all this stuff, right? Just make sure that you are treating these platforms for what they are and then offering something deeper for the people who want to connect with you deeper, and then provide the value there to the people who want to connect with you deeper. Don't overthink your content and I gotta have this and this means this and I gotta do this. No, you ain't gotta do all that. Give them what they want on those platforms because they come with contingencies and ways to move. These platforms have their own rules of engagement and what they like and what works. And then leverage that to get people into your space for real, and then where you can make your own rules. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?